Okay, so we're starting off with eyebrows covered. I covered it with my glue stick trick that I did in my Jean Harlow video. It's described more distinctly in there. And I drew in a very straight black eyebrow using a black eyeshadow. Now I'm applying a eyeshadow primer. And I have not done any face makeup. I want to protect my face from fallout. I'm now going to apply a black base. This is a black kohl pencil, and I'm simply just using it to dot in some color along my eyelid and then blend it with my finger. Blending upwards towards the brow from the lash line. Continue to blend. Make sure that you get a good base on your eyelid. From there, I'm going to take a medium toned to light gray eyeshadow, and this is a matte gray eyeshadow, and I'm just placing that with an eyeshadow brush over the black pencil that we've applied already. I'm blending that upwards as well, and then I'm applying a medium toned gray to the crease using a blending brush. This is just going to be a very smoky eye. This is where the smoky eye came from. Take a muted nude shade and apply this with an eyeshadow brush to the brow bone. We don't want too light of a brow highlight, but just enough to blend to the edges of that crease color. And now I'm going to take that same medium toned gray and I'm going to take a pencil brush and blend it underneath the eye. We do not need any harsh lines here. It's very much just a lightly blended line, and it's going to be carried all the way to the tear duct. I'm sure y'all can see my son in the background there. Now I'm going to take a nude pencil and just line my waterline. I didn't want it to be too white, but I do want to open up the eye just a little. From there I'm going to take that same kohl pencil we used earlier, and I'm going to line both the upper and the lower lash line. This is very important. Eyes in the 20s were typically very black rimmed, especially in cinema. After I apply that to both the upper and the lower lash line, I'm going to blend it with that same pencil brush we used earlier, and also use a little of the gray eyeshadow over the top just to make sure that it's completely blended with no harsh lines. I also tight-lined my eyes with that kohl pencil to make sure that there's no gaps in the eyelash line, and I'm applying mascara, lots of mascara, coats and coats of mascara to top and bottom. The bottom lashes are very important. Bottom lashes were very prominent in movie stars' looks in the 20s. And I'm applying that all over. Now I'm taking eyelashes with the ends cut off. I snipped off the flared ends on these eyelashes. There's no specific eyelash that I recommend. I just recommend a natural lash with the ends snipped off so that they are a little bit blunt. We don't want any flared doe eye edges to the eyelash. And then I'm going to apply it to the upper lash line, blend it in with my natural lashes. The eyelashes should look somewhat natural, but still thick. I'm using a dark eyelash glue here as well. There's my son again, making his appearance. Continuing to apply the eyelashes, make sure that you use tweezers if you need to for more definition. You want to make sure that the eyelashes are well applied, and you want to make sure that there are no gaps. What we're doing with the eyelashes here is placing them a little bit farther down on the outside corners so that the eyes droop a little in a melodramatic way. This is very important because the eyes in the 20s were typically very melodramatic. You'll see that the straight eyebrow actually gave the eyes a worried appearance, so that was all part of the dramatic look of that time, of that era. So I'm blending those eyelashes in with my own. And now I'm applying even more mascara to blend in the upper lashes with the false lashes, and then also a little bit more to the lower lash line as well. Now I'm taking some eye makeup remover and I'm getting all the fallout that was underneath my eyes because we're going to apply the face next. I'm using Amazing Concealer and a blending brush to apply a light colored concealer all underneath my eyes. I want to make sure that I have a very matte and very consistent quality to my color of my skin. So I'm making sure to apply this concealer underneath my eyes and get to cancel out any dark areas. I'm also going to apply the same concealer using the same blending brush around the edges of my nose where I might have any redness. There's my sun again. And I'm going to continue to apply that so that it will cover up any blemishes and any discolorations, because I want my skin to have a very matte and a very consistent color to it. Right now it looks extremely light under my eyes, but that's just simply because I haven't applied foundation yet. So now I am going to apply my foundation. This is a heavy coverage foundation, and I'm dotting it all over my skin, and then I'm taking this flat top kabuki brush from Sigma and I'm actually blending in all of that foundation so that it has a very, very consistent and very not necessarily a matte appearance, but like a very consistent appearance. We want to make sure that the skin is flawless. So once we've applied all of our foundation, we're going to apply powder. Powder was the most important product used in the 1920s. As a matter of fact, most people did not use foundation except for movie stars. So therefore, this was the most important product. And we want to make sure we apply a generous amount of that all over the foundation so that there is no shine to the skin. After we apply our powder, we're going to apply a cream blush, and I'm using a stippling brush just to apply it directly beneath the eye. Nothing in the cheekbone area, just beneath the eye. This was considered the most attractive place to put blush in the 1920s, and it was usually blended down towards the jawline. We'll discuss blush in more detail in the part 1 of this video. Now I'm going to take a concealer and lightly mute my lips. I want to make sure that the edges of my lips are muted so that we can apply a slightly different shaped mouth. Thin lips were extremely important in the 1920s. Very few people had full lips, and the bee stung mouth, which was also popular, was not as common in the 1920s as a thin lip. If you look closely at pictures of Louise Brooks, Clara Bow, other very, very famous women from that time, there was usually a thin-lipped appearance with a slightly angled upper lip. Usually the peaks of the Cupid's bow were in very, very defined points. So I'm lining just within my lip line using a dark red or burgundy pencil, and then also avoiding the corners of my mouth altogether in order to make the lips seem smaller. I'm now using a deep burgundy color. You can use something that's even more deep than this, but this is just kind of a deep burgundy red. And I'm using a lip brush to fill in my lips. This is actually Sin Noir from Julie Hewitt. And once we have filled in the lips, then we will start on the hair. I'm starting out with very, very wet hair. I'm going to do a pseudo finger wave. As you can see, this was a very popular style in the 1920s. Most pictures show at least some form of wave, if your hair was not naturally curly like mine is not, unless you had a very blunt bob. So I'm doing something that's kind of indicative of the era. You can see more about finger waving in my finger waving tutorials. I have a tutorial called Banging Out a Wave. And basically, I'm just shaping waves with my fingers. I'm pinching ridges in wherever the waves connect and trying to kind of pinch those in place with clips. The reason that I am not focusing too much on technique is that this set fails miserably. I didn't allow it to dry long enough, so that's why I'm not focusing too much on technique. But the principle's still there. If you allow this to dry longer, you'll have a much better result. But what I'm doing is just forming and shaping waves using, my hair has had some gel applied to it, a flexible hold gel, and then I also have used water to shape the waves. I'm doing this on both sides of my hair, kind of pushing the hair forward, pulling it back, using clips to hold the waves in place wherever I see fit, wherever I like to. And then I'm also going to create a pin curl here on this side because I think I'm going to do a kiss curl on this side. A kiss curl is just simply a curl that frames the face and is very defined. So I'm going to use a clip to kind of keep that curl in place. And I was originally going to put a pin curl here as well, but I decided instead to go ahead and just roll all of my hair in very, very small rollers because I knew that it would probably take tighter curl that way. My hair being shorter and fine, it just tends to take a tighter curl if I use these small foam rollers. So you can see I've got a combination of clips and duckbill clips and all of that. Okay, now after my hair has dried, I'm releasing the clips and the rollers. And then I'm going to kind of brush through it. I actually used a comb and my fingers to break up the gel, and that's when I realized that the bottom part there where you can see there's no curl, that did not dry completely. So I'm now going to show you how to fix it. I'm not creating an entirely perfect finger wave set here, but it will still have very much the look of the 1920s with some defined curls and some defined waves. I'm pinching that wave back into place even though the hair is dry. I have used pomade to sleek my hair down, and then I'm pinching in ridges wherever I can, using bobby pins to accentuate the waves that I am able to recreate. You'll see me recreate this a few different times. And I use bobby pins to just kind of reshape and reform the waves that were there or that were initially supposed to be there. But you can see where that ridge came into place. And I just form and shape the waves and continue to add bobby pins. And you can see that kind of puts that defined wave back into place. And you'll see also that these little hairs that I'm pulling down over my forehead, I actually shape those into a spit curl. A spit curl is really a curl that was formed with the fingers and then plastered to the forehead with spit or egg white, but I just used pomade. And now I'm taking those straight pieces that didn't curl and I'm forming them into pin curls and pinning them into place with bobby pins. So basically you just beat that hair into submission and shape it however you'd like to see it fit. So I've got, a few pin curls, a ridge. It's kind of a hodgepodgey hairstyle, but I do think it suits the decade. Okay, so that's one side. That's the other side, and there's the little curls, the more defined curls around the face. And this is really just to show you that you can do whatever you like on this. So I hope you enjoyed it.